Hello, everyone. Happy weekend. We are live from Singapore. This is our second live stream broadcast. And I hope you're all safe wherever you are watching from now. And I'm excited to have with me today in our second live stream a fellow content creator from across the globe. So Amy is the content creator, the brains behind the video ladies. I'm gonna ask her to talk about what she does in her own words because I don't think I can give justice to the scope of work that she have done specifically on YouTube and on video marketing. So I'm gonna invite Insider Stream right now. Hello, Amy.
Hi there, Robert. How are you doing?
I'm good. Are you expecting like an intro dun, 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 music? I don't have that
That's
yet.
all.
Anyway, welcome to my
Thank
live
you.
stream and thank you for joining me. So as I mentioned, I'm gonna give you, a few hours to introduce yourself. Talk about what you're doing and where you're from. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I hail from Washington State in the US, and I'm really excited to be here. So thank you very much for having me on your show. And as you mentioned, I run The Video Lady, which is a YouTube channel for women who are entrepreneurs, specifically women over 40. I don't like to admit that I'm in that category, but I am. But I especially have a passion for video, and that's video editing, video creation, storytelling. How do you get that out to your marketplace? And what I found when I went looking on YouTube is that just wasn't a whole lot of stuff that was being done by women for women in that space, especially with video editing and content creation. And so I started my own channel because I just love it so much. And I feel like there was a spot for me in the marketplace. And so I've been working with that ever since. And I've owned my own small business since 2011. So I kind of got into the marketing game here not so long ago, about a year and a half ago. But before that, I had my own business. So I really feel like I can identify with women too when they're trying to balance
Mm.
so many different things. And then how do you add video editing to that mix? It's just one more thing, right? And there can be so much that goes into it. So I'm excited to be here and talk about a little bit about some tricks and tools and whatever else you want to chat about.
Yeah, that's amazing. Glad to hear that. And I think that's one important aspect of content creation. Finding laser focus on a specific niche because it's so tempting to jump on YouTube and talk about, hey, I'm good at video editing and I'm doing this for everyone. And
Yeah.
that's, yeah, I mean, coming having mentioned that, why do you think content creators should focus on a niche, no matter how small or how big that niche is.
Yeah, I think you can't underestimate the power of the voice that you have, and I think that's one of the things that I see that's that's beautiful about video, whether it's YouTube or whatever you're using it for, is that you get to tell your story, right? And I think, we see in film, I think I read somewhere that, like 60, 70% of the people who are involved in filmmaking are men, right? So we're getting a lot of those stories that are told from a male perspective.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. They're great stories and they're great stories to tell. But women also have stories to tell and they tell them in a certain way, right? And having the ability to do video and to find your niche and your voice is going to allow you to also find other people who have had similar experiences to you, or similar, they have similar needs to what you're describing, right? And you can help those people. I think it's easy when you're a small content creator like myself or lots of others, to think, well, who's going to listen to me? I'm just getting started, or I don't. I'm just a little fish in a big sea. But the fact is that there are other people who out there who need to hear what you have to say. And video editing and all of these things, creation, give you a way to get your message out into the world. And I think you can't look at some big Amazon kind of corporation and compare yourself to those people. You have to think about what is it that I bring to the table that's unique, right? I'm As a small business owner, for example, I can be very personal with my customers in a way
Mhm.
that Amazon can never be, right? Because they're just too big. Um, so you have opportunities, I think, as a small business creator that you just don't have when you get to a larger size. And I think that niche and niching down to a group of people who you can really resonate with is going to help you find that.
I mean, Amazon started probably also with a handful of people who believes in what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah.
Whatever they were talking about when they were starting, they started from a small group, which most of us content creators are doing right now. So, it's always about having one thing that I've learned from Think Media again is
Mhm.
do the content right now as if you're preparing to a million subscribers already, because you wouldn't know when you're gonna hit that. And when you do, when you have that confidence for 10 people and is not ready for hundreds of thousands of audience, I think that's gonna impact your delivery. So you mentioned you have a business full time. Was it related to media or marketing also?
So I this is my full-time business, my
Mm.
channel, my website, and I do some consulting on the side as well,
Mm-hmm.
for specifically towards video. So helping people get set up on with video. Either I'm helping a group right now do set up an email marketing campaign, and we're going to incorporate some video into that email marketing campaign. And then we hope eventually down the road as well to get them started on a YouTube channel. But that's a future project.
So it's still related to content creation, like in a
Yes.
way, like
Yeah.
what you're doing. So, and then your channel is a way to what do you call this, build your influence, right? And let people, when
Yeah.
people research you, you send a pitch deck, and then people research you. Hey, this video lady knows what she's doing, right? Because she has a channel, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a piece of it.
Yep.
I also just like making videos. I got into this because I actually love the process of video. So, if it was just about having a channel, I probably would have picked something else.
Hmm.
But I actually love the fact that with video you can tell a story, and there are so many ways to tell that story. And
Yes.
the satisfaction that I get from taking a concept and turning it into a fully finished video, you know, with all of the pieces that go into that, whether it's the music that you're going to put in there for a certain emotional effect, or whether it's, you know, finding just the right B-roll to go with a shot or whatever. I love that whole process of creating, and that's why I chose video as opposed to something else. But yeah, that's
So, but basically, you enjoy, aside from a businesswoman, you enjoy the creative process, right?
yeah.
And it
And
just so happens
this
that
marries the
video.
two, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, hitting my microphone here, but yeah, this kind of marries the two. And like I said before, you know, it still is for a lot of people a new and kind of scary space to be in.
Mhm.
And you know, I'm not by no means a feature film like level video creator, so don't get me wrong. Like, you know,
Michael Bay.
no, no time soon. Um, but I think, you know, there are a lot of stories, whether that's business stories, you know, telling the story of your business to your
Mm.
customers, or just getting a story even out of other people, right? Interviewing people and getting to hear about what was important to them and how they, you know, different things like that. That whole process of creating a story is, to me, very fascinating.
Yeah, it's fun. And I mean, I'm teaching video production, and uh, I noticed that, not 100% of the class is really fascinated about, storytelling. They're in it for the gears, the
Yeah.
cameras, the lights, the cables. And I mean, I'm encouraging them. I keep telling them that, if you're not going for that like storytelling direction in your career, all these gears would be gone.
Yeah.
Like, what if there's no camera, right? What if there's no internet? And what are you gonna do with your life, right? But if you're
Yeah.
a storyteller, wherever you go, if for some reason we go back to like the caveman, you know, times, you
Yeah.
can you can still earn money by telling stories, right? No
Yeah.
need for a camera.
That's
Okay, having that experience in being an entrepreneur, you know, that
right.
you're doing a lot of video marketing strategy right now, specifically on YouTube. If there's one person who's watching right now and they feel like, I'm not big enough, I'm a small business owner, but I want to do it, not today, not tomorrow, but I want to go jump in on YouTube. So what can you tell them? What do they need to prepare? What's the first thing that they need to do before they jump in and be on YouTube on their first episode?
Yeah. That's a really good question. And I think it's actually really important. And what I would say to anybody who's thinking about starting a channel, especially if you're a small business, is um, I, I see and hear a lot of people say, you know, that's just too expensive, can't afford to hire a crew, or maybe they're like, the technology is too complicated. Both of those things nowadays are myths.
Mhm.
And so honestly, I think if you're a small entrepreneur, you can't afford not to do video marketing in this day and age. And that's going to save your business, I think, in the next 10, 15 years. Video is going to be huge, right? And if you aren't on video, it's going to be kind of like you don't exist. Just like if you're not on the internet now and you don't have a website, you don't exist, right? Um,
Yes.
but the thing is, the barrier to entry is so much lower now. There's lots of room for amateurs, and kind of this authentic reality kind of based way of looking at the world is kind of in right now. So
Mhm.
the whole idea that everything you do has to be all polished and, you know, all of that, right? It has to be scripted by a professional, all that kind of stuff, is not as important as it maybe was 10 years ago. Um, and the technology too. Um, there's amazing technology out there now that's really easy to learn.
Mhm.
So, I, you know, if you're a small entrepreneur right now and you're thinking, overwhelming, can't do it, that would be the first thing that I would say is that though both of those issues are off the table at this point, in the world.
Yes.
But I do think that if you're a small business owner, I'm a solo business owner, right? I'm doing everything. then you do have to be really intentional about your planning process. And I get really intentional about my process. If you just think to yourself, oh, I'm going to try to do some video marketing. If I have time, I'll, maybe dig out my camera, do a few things. That's going to fail.
Mm.
It's doomed to fail. Because you know how this goes. You're a small business owner, the phone rings, somebody needs something, and all of a sudden your day is over and you haven't done half the things that you
Yes.
thought you were going to do today, right? The days will just get away from you unless you really protect your time. And so I think that if you're going to go in and do video marketing, that you really need to commit to it.
Yes.
You need to say, yes, I need this, and I'm going to make a commitment that I'm going to make it happen, whether that's one video a month, whether it's I'm just starting out doing some little short things on Instagram, whatever your deal is, that you make a commitment that you're going to be consistent with it. And then the second thing that I would say is that you also want to think about the fact that your return on investment for video marketing has a really long tail on it. So if somebody is thinking, oh, I'm going to just put a couple videos out on YouTube and boom, my business is going to explode overnight. That's also not true.
Mhm.
Um, it's a long tail curve, right?
Yes.
And so you need to think about the cost and the time that you're starting with, right? You have to, that in the short term, that's going to hurt. But in the long
Yes.
term, 3 years from now, or whenever, and the views come in and you're building your expertise online and your authority, that's going to really help you out. So those are just a couple things that I would say if you're thinking of starting a video marketing strategy, think about those things, plan ahead for those. But then I would encourage you to do it, because I was reading on Forbes not too long ago, and they were saying that by 2022 that online videos are going to make up more than 82% of all
Yes.
consumer internet traffic. So I mean, you need to be on video. There's just no two ways about it.
Yeah, I mean, you got that figure right because I've read that as well. They have that, prediction. These people
Yeah.
have data, and they have data to support their claims that, by next 2022 there's going to be 82%. So if you're not part of that, but I think on a practical side of things, if when people ask me, like, what will it take me, that's the magic question for them. I mean, I always tell them, there's no rule of thumb. There's no like magic pill that you're gonna swallow and then, like, in 1 week, in 2 weeks, I'm good at this. And they really have to, start. But practically, I would tell my students or the people I'm coaching is, you need at least a year of, like, a minimum of 1 year dedication, that I'm really gonna do this week and by week by week by week. Find a way to insert myself, like you said, if it's gonna be Instagram first or it's gonna be, YouTube stories, but that would help me, my confidence in talking in front of the camera. They would probably see stories as, small thing, but I think the big impact for that is it helps your confidence grow, because there's a camera in front of you. People would think it's easy, like, I think you're scripting your videos. Me, I'm scripting that. But the confidence to be in front of the camera, I don't know if you have experienced this. Like, I have video production projects, so my client was like, all confident and stuff. Once I hit the record, it's
Yeah.
like they were possessed by a quiet spirit. They can, I don't know, there's something about the light, the red light
Yeah.
blinking and
Yeah.
the lens pointing at you, that would really kill a person. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's, look at what you're gonna attack first. For me, the very first uh, concern is your confidence. That's
Yeah.
it. Even if you're a good writer, you have very good skill set, but your confidence is not showing in front of the camera. That's the first thing that you need to work on. And I think minimum of a year, you can safely say after a year, I'm confident, enough to bring my game to the next level, right?
Yeah, I think there's this tendency to want to be perfect right before you start.
Yep.
And I'm probably the worst perfectionist. Well, I'm the worst perfectionist I can think of in my friend group, right? I never do anything unless I know I can do it perfect the first time, right? And you get on video and you realize I can't be perfect, right? But the
Yeah.
great thing about, this little device right here is you can practice as much as you want and
Mm.
nobody ever has to see it until you're ready.
Yep.
But I think the key is that if you don't ever get started, it's not going to get better. And I had some experience in the past working with drama club as a kind of side hobby with kids. So I had worked with other people a lot on building their confidence. But it's quite different when all of a sudden it's you in front of the camera.
Yeah.
All that stuff that you've been saying, that you've been preaching to other people, all of a sudden you realize, "Ooh, now I have to do this." So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
easy to be a preacher,
yeah, yeah,
preach stuff. But I think you can also relate to the fact that you have your like bad days, right? When you were
yeah,
starting, but you have this feeling that this doesn't look good, but I've been doing this like for 3 weeks and I need to upload something. And then, you still go on uploading stuff, right? Wherein if it doesn't meet your, standards, but that would
yeah.
happen a lot, right? For people who are starting up on YouTube, right?
I think so. So I did this actually last week. I was under the gun on a number of deadlines and it just wasn't going to be possible to make a video, right? And I'm like, I have to make a video. I've committed to making a video every week and I need to make a video. So I literally walked around my house with my camera and just went back to the basics. And I posted it out to my personal Facebook page. So this is not something I normally do for my business stuff because people don't care about that. But I had 133 views on that video in less than 24 hours. And that's unusual. And I don't normally have that audience, like I said. But a lot of them got a lot of value out of that because it was really basic stuff.
Yep.
Um, but we're all using video right now because of the pandemic and different things, and so we're you know people need that information. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would not say it was my best video. I didn't have time to spend on it. It wasn't perfect lighting and it wasn't perfect angles and whatever else that I usually try to work on. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one good thing that you mentioned. There 133 views after 24 hours. That talks about a demand, right? So a lot of people would hesitate to start their own, video marketing or their own YouTube because they think, oh, it's too crowded now. How am I gonna insert myself, right? How would people listen to me? What's your point of view on that? Because for me, it's like, wait, are you targeting 1 million overnight, right? How do you convince business owners that there's still a lot of opportunity, even if like YouTube is looks very crowded, but in fact it's not yet crowded as a lot of people are saying, right?
Yeah, I think you're totally right about that, Robert. I think people either kind of are in one of two ditches, right? They're either saying, it's totally saturated in this market, there's no way I can get any exposure, or they're thinking, well, I would just want a video that goes viral, right?
Mhm.
And there's nothing in between those two. But I guess I don't really see it that way. I mean, if I get 10 views on a video, and that's 10 people that I help and they go on to be successful, I've been successful.
Yes.
And if I happen to get 100,000 views, I mean, I've never gotten 100,000 views so far on a video. But if I were to get 100,000 views or a million views on a video and I was able to help a million people, I mean, that'd be
Yeah.
even nicer, right? But I think there's that expression we have in English, slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I think between those two, you have to think about what are what do your what kind of a business are you in, first of all,
Yes.
and then how can you best help your customers? And I would focus on that. Then you have a niche, and then you also have opportunity, because the
Mhm.
people who you are currently serving, they have questions that you can answer on video. They have, maybe they need you to walk them through the process. I mean, even if you're a service business, you do painting for a
Yeah.
living. They need to know what should they expect when you come to their house. What kind of maintenance do they need to do on their paint job after it's finished so that it protects it? There's a lot of things you can do to add value to your customers that most people aren't doing. So even if you're a small business, even if the market is crowded, so to speak, there's never been too many people providing good quality content. And if you make good quality content, there's room for you. I
Yes.
mean, there's a lot of people giving bad quality content, right? Um, but
And
good quality
they're
content,
getting
there's not
paid.
much. Yeah.
And they're getting paid, right? Like bad.
Yeah.
Yo.
Some of them.
Anyway, I mean, that's out of our control. But the thing is, find that first person who would watch you. You know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Try to change that life of that one person. So that's why there's a lot of pressure going around on YouTube right now. Like, hey, can you sub to my channel? I'm gonna sub to your channel. That those kinds of stuff. But it's not really wrap around the value that you can give as a content creator. Like for me, I stopped looking at my subscriber numbers, and I just focus on creating content that I think would help at least 10 people. So
Yeah.
if I have videos that reach 100 views after 24 hours, that's like you said, 100 people that you were instrumental in helping them and transforming their lives and their journey. And like in your case, you mentioned that you're focused more on the 40 plus content
Mhm.
creators, women
Yep.
content creators. But that's really good, because that's the age where everyone is just started a business or in the middle of their business journey. And if they are like you, who are a solo entrepreneur, what you provide to them is very helpful, and you can see that in the views on your video. And I think you have comments on your video as well, asking you like pretty basic stuff. If you're gonna be rude about it, like you would tell, hey, that's like one Google search away, why are you I
Yeah.
mean, in my channel I have people asking me for a solution that I talk about on a video on that
Yeah.
specific. I can't tell them that did you watch my video. Still, I give them the value because the purpose of my video is for anyone who would ask. So if they have no time to watch, they still ask me. I would still let them know this is what you do. This is a step one, step two, step three. But yeah, but for you, in your case, uh, what were the most challenging part in managing a channel and running a business, a full time business?
Yeah, that's a really great question too, and I think that's what a lot of small entrepreneurs struggle with. And I would not say I've unwrapped the magic bullet or whatever necessarily. I mean, there's still times when things don't go. I don't get as much done as I hope to. But um, I would say that planning is the number one thing. So planning and planning, like um
Yep.
I kind of I plan my strategy first of all. So you kind of need to have a big picture strategy, right? Of where are you going with this, anyways. You don't just want to have a channel and put random stuff out there and not really know whether or not it's meeting your goals. You want to know, what am I trying to do with this channel? Am I trying to educate people? Am I trying to gain subscribers? Am I trying to sell a product? What am I trying to do with this channel? And who's
Mhm.
my target audience, right? I need to know also, who am I trying to attract on my channel, because I need to speak to those people. I don't want to speak to everyone in the world. I just want to talk to people who need what I'm providing. So that's
Mhm.
first thing. You need to know your strategy, because your individual videos are not going to be valuable to anybody if you don't know what your strategy is.
Yes.
um, but then the second thing, of course, is planning the actual individual videos that you are working on. And that actually, I think a lot of people want to just get their camera out and start going. And I don't recommend that approach, because I feel like if you plan it right, you can set yourself up for success, not just for one video, but for 12 videos at a time, right? And then you want to plan the production of those videos. So, and by production, I don't just mean the production of the one video, but also thinking about down the road, how am I going to repurpose this content? How am I going to keep people watching it, right? And then you also, you only have so much time in a day, so you got to batch your work. And I know that sounds simple, but it's actually, it requires some focused time, right? And so for that, I would just say you need to aggressively protect that time when you're planning your videos. You need to aggressively protect that time, because there's always going to be something that comes up, some other, short-term win or short-term priority that, hair
Yes.
on fire, right? And
Yes.
then you're like, oh, I'll write that video script later, or, oh, I'll think about those keywords later. And then it doesn't happen. And then you don't have a video strategy. Then you're coming around to, your commitment to putting a video out once a week, say, or whatever it is. And you don't have anything. So yeah, the planning, to me, planning is number one, because your production value, the content that you create is more important than the production value, right? If the lighting's not perfect and you don't have the exact right footage, you can make that work. If you don't have a plan for what your content is, or the content that you're giving out is just kind of rambling, we've seen those videos, right, where people ramble on for 10 minutes about their dog, and then they finally get around to talking about whatever it is.
Yes.
That doesn't add any value to people, and you're not going to get subscribers out of that. That's just the way it is, right? So you want to know, who am I serving? What is this video about? And how do I, make
Yeah.
it the best it can be? And not just this video, but how do I attach it to the next video that I'm going to be making? How do I repurpose this content? I've got, say, 4 or 5 main points that I'm going through in this video, and now I want to bring those back, say, a month later, and get some more traction on my video using social media. You have to have a plan for all that stuff before you ever get your camera out and start shooting.
Yeah, that's a good point. And again, uh, a practical approach would be, because not everyone is a marketing, that have that marketing mindset.
Yeah.
The basic marketing mindset is you talk to the right people. That's it, right? But
Yeah.
once you identify the right people, the most practical approach I can see is, figure out where they are and where you want to bring them.
Yeah.
And everything that happens in between is your opportunity to write content, because that's where you find solutions, that's where you find questions, that's where you find technology and tools that you can help. This is the person I want to help. You want to go here? Okay, this is my
Yeah.
magic in between. And that's a long journey. It's something that you cannot really predict. And as a content creator, that is a lot of opportunity for us, definitely for you as well, to uh like drop bombs of value, in
Yeah.
their journey, and make them practically, better. But when you started that, that mindset of talking to the right group of people and adding value,
Hmm.
were there ever a time that you felt that, I think this is the wrong crowd for me, or you were pretty sure that they are the crowd that you want to talk to?
Sometimes I still go back and forth on that, I'll be honest, because I put out a video. I think it was the 4th video I made. It was an unboxing video for a new computer that I got, and it went kind of viral, not super
Mm.
viral, but you know, I I have, I think it's been on YouTube for about a month and it had like 1,500 views, which for a brand new channel, that was quite a few. Um, but it's all men, almost all the entire demographic, right? Which is not the demographic that I was shooting
Yes.
for when I did this. I just wanted practice and I had bought a new computer. I'm like, well, I'll do a video on it. Um, and so then I was like, well, maybe I should change my approach and just, widen the net a little bit. But I've I've kind of realized I had a lady come on the other day and text me a question that I was able to answer for her. And she told me she was 73 and she was just making her first video. And
Mm.
that actually made me feel um I mean, she's maybe even
Yes.
a little older than my target demographic, right? But the fact that I could help someone like her to get
Yes.
who's venturing into something totally new, I was like, I'm right where I belong. And the when you see people kind of get this aha moment of I can do this, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't really want to make videos for other people. I kind of want to be the lady who helps them figure out how to make, teaches them to
Yes.
fish, right? So that they can make their own videos. And when you see people sort of start to get those gears turning and it's
Yes.
working for them, um, you know, it, there's no better feeling in the world. I mean,
Yeah, I
um,
agree.
but there's
And
100 other people out there doing that for other demographics, right? But
yes.
not so much for this demographic.
And yeah, you mentioned, just being wearing the hat of people, of helping people, influencing people. I mean, as you grow old, what else can you do? There's gonna be a time in our lives that we can hardly carry a mirrorless camera because we're too old. And even so, bring the tripods. When I was younger, I can like carry a bunch of tripods, light stands. I don't know, in production, the I forgot the name, that big silver stand with 3 feet, forgot the name, but it's mostly in the production work, and
Okay.
that's where I started. I was carrying those stuff, but I mean, I was younger. But if you won't really aim for that, a source of value, a brand that provides value, that encourages value, it's gonna be really tricky. And I think you also have a timeline on when, until when you want to do, those video, the actual video doing, video creating stuff. Because for me, I'm giving myself a few more years. I don't want to keep filming, and editing. It's more of helping, like you said, teach them how to fish,
Yeah.
because there's gonna be the future is bright. If
Yeah.
we are to describe it, it looks busy, but it's still bright. It's if it's not, it was not. It's not too late now. Even if people started 2005, when was your YouTube? Mine is 2009, but I didn't do
I
anything on that channel.
I actually just started my video channel this year. So
Mm,
I started in July, I believe, um, of this year with my video channel. And I've been doing video before that for other things on my own, just kind of more as not quite a hobby almost, but
mm,
certainly just learning, right? And I would say I'm still learning a lot of stuff about video. But yeah, I just got started because I loved it. Because when I discovered it, I was like, I was born to do this, kind of a feeling, right?
yes.
And so, I mean, that's the beauty of YouTube, I think, and the beauty of video is that I can just do that, right? I can just start putting videos up there. I can start telling my story. I can start doing, marketing my small business, whatever it is that I want to do, I can start doing it because the internet gives you that power. Facebook and YouTube and all of the different social media platforms give you the power to tell your story. And people are consuming video, right? That's how it is. So um, I think there's room for, and I got into my 40s and some of the things that I would have done as a younger person, and I'm kind of in the middle of my career and all of these things, right? And then you start realizing, gosh, I need hobbies.
Yeah.
So you think I need to keep expanding the horizon, my horizons, or I'm gonna kind of shrivel up and die. I mean, it's a little depressing, but you kind of you're not as young anymore, right? You realize you're not as hip as you once were, um, but then you have a whole depth of experience that you can provide also that you didn't have um,
Yes.
10, 20 years ago, right? And I think that a lot of women, especially, and I'm kind of on that jag, but they've been so busy either raising their kids or working on their career, then they haven't had a lot of time for these things. But then all of a sudden, their kids are all grown up, they leave home, and they have a lot of time to fill, right? And here you are. This is it's a new frontier that we can go into in our, and it's good for whatever area of your life you want to use it for. I mean, right now I'm working on a video because it was my dad's 70th birthday not too long ago, and we are making a one of those cake videos, right? That people where they make the cake um, and then they show the finished cake and it says happy birthday or whatever. We're going to make one of those for him, and we're making a music video for him with all the grandkids. Like, these are things that it's not just business, right? I mean, I'm focusing on business right now, but
It's a lifestyle.
it's a lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah. The one you mentioned a while ago, that's really interesting. The 73-year-old lady who just wanted to start a channel. I think, if you're not yet doing it, you should. That's a content for you. It's like really, a testament of who you can reach.
Yeah.
Because, who would know that, the video lady would be instrumental for, the senior video lady, a
Uh,
73-year-old.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I,
and
I
I
cannot
applaud
process
her.
that.
I mean, I think that's fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, she's going to find a niche too, right? She's going to have a group of people that can totally relate to her, and the
Yes.
content that she puts out, whatever that ends up being. So I think it's just fantastic.
And she has no competition, I think.
No, no,
Right? I mean, how where can you find a 73-year-old lady doing a video? Practically that's it. If I mean,
yeah,
they can just practically sit in a rocking chair and do live streams and discuss like what do you do with your precious time now that there's not much of it. Just kidding, but there's a lot of talking points that they can really. But if I may ask, what's the direction that she wants to take, or are
um,
you guiding her on that?
I'm not sure. I think she said something about meditation videos or something like that. I think she was looking to do something with music and meditation, that kind of thing, and cool video footage. So I
That's
think it's
exciting.
fantastic. I mean, the more the merrier, really, for
you
all of
should
this.
you should focus on that, I think, as like a a case study, a testimony of what the video lady is doing out there, because I don't think I'm gonna hear that like similar to that, something like that in the next 10 to 20 years. I mean, that's good, and that's really encouraging for someone like at, and we are relatively small channels. But like I mentioned, I set up my YouTube in 2009 because that was the
Mhm.
time when I got really into the social media. I created account on most channels without knowing what to do with them. So my YouTube was like blank for it was like all playlists because I'm a band. I added playlists there, but I just started like last year. I mean, almost 7 2 weeks. I think every week one episode for this channel, and I just crossed 1,000 subscribers. And the feeling of wow, there's 1,000 people convinced that
Yeah,
my channel is valuable. That's, I mean, for me, that's big, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
what's your strategy in getting, how do you look at those numbers? I know your numbers are not yet that big, right? But for some, that's discouraging. But as a business owner with long-term plans, with the big picture idea, how should everyone look at those numbers when they're starting?
Yeah, so for me, I just crossed 100. So I'm, like I said, I just started in, I think, just mid-July of this year. which is 2020, in case we're watching this next year, um, or the year after. Um, and so after, I guess, what, 2.5 months, I have 100 subscribers, and I feel like I've worked hard for those 100 subscribers. I wasn't sitting around, and I've got 12 videos out. One of them was a live stream, and I'm going to do more of those because I think that was an effective way to help the people that are following me, especially with like tutorials and that kind of stuff. We did some live stuff, um, but for me, the numbers right now, the numbers are not as important to me as listening to what people's needs are,
Mm.
and also reviewing the numbers that I am getting. So I'm not looking so much at my subscriber numbers, but more at which things do I get views on, which
Yes.
topics are resonating with people, and then where do people fall off. So when I do a video, I can go back through and look, at where people lose interest, so to speak, and try to fine tune my approach, because I think that when you're first starting, you want to listen to your customers, and it's not just about listening to what they are saying, but also kind of these what they're not saying, right? That also matters. So those kind of yeah, I feel like there's a lot there to unpack. Every comment I get, I'm trying to respond to.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going out into the Facebook groups that I'm part of and asking for feedback.
Yes.
Just as an example, I really badly want to do a storytelling module. So I want to do, 5 or 6 videos on storytelling when you're doing video and how to do that effectively. Dying to do that group of videos. But I went out on Facebook into a group that I'm a part of, and I asked them, okay, well, would you rather have a storytelling, module, or would you rather have a video editing module, or would you rather know like what kind of equipment, like
Mm.
studio, setting up your studio? And so they came back and they were like, we really want video editing. That's what we need, feel like we need information on. So I'm, sadly put my storytelling stuff, I'm still going to do it, but it's, the consensus was video editing is more where people's questions are coming from.
Yes.
And interestingly, when I did that, so I've only made, I think, 2 videos so far, but I have one more in the pipeline here, of different video editing softwares and kind of a tutorial on those videos are doing well. So they're doing
Mm.
well, not just with sorry about that. They're not just, with those Facebook folks that I talk to, but in the general YouTube sense, right? The tutorials are getting more views than some of my other more big picture, production kind of videos.
Yeah, I think those big picture episodes, if you would call it, it's stuff like, I mean, it's good to have sometimes, just to establish that this is my domain.
Yeah.
Because people would still there would still be a group of people that would look for you in that context. Like for me, the video that went viral is, I just tried to fix. It's a quick fix. It's a 3-second fix for something that I've learned, and I decided, oh, this is part of what I'm doing. Why not throw it out there? And now it's more than 20,000 views, that one video, and I
Yeah.
did a follow up. And because of that, reading the comments and answering the comments, I realized there's like a question that is linked to that. So I created that. So
Yeah.
that video now is like, catching up. That's you're using a vidIQ or TubeBuddy.
Yeah, I use vidIQ. Yeah.
Yeah, you would know the rankings, right? Like, if you go to my that specific video, all my keywords are number one,
Yeah.
just because I listen to the comments, and it's like it's in the comment section that I realize, oh, that is connected. Now, let me grab my camera. But there are, I don't know if you have done like ad hoc episodes, because learning from the experts, there's also a way to, increase your traffic if something that's relevant to what you're doing. Like I'm doing, I'm browsing the internet. I was like randomly reading stuff. Then that was the day that I read that Microsoft Teams is launching.
Okay.
So in the next 5 minutes, I wrote a script. Read from different blogs what they, because there's nothing about it yet. So I
Yeah.
read from different blogs. I come up with a script for I think a 3 minute, 4 minute video. Then I recorded myself, and then I grabbed the Microsoft ad because there's nothing about MS Teams when it was out there,
Right.
and I grab it and use that as B-rolls. So I mean that video is doing good because there's also a huge, you're quite certain that there's a huge group of people that would look for that because
Right.
it's new. Have you tried that? Like, there's like piggybacking on a trend because something big happened and it's related to what I'm doing. Because I talk about using the power of video in communicating. In the work from home scenario right now. Have you done something like
Yeah.
that where you piggyback on the trend?
I did. I think that the video that I was talking about that I got, 1,500 views on in
Mm.
the last month or whatever. I think that was, I mean, it was a little inadvertent because I was pretty new to the process at the time.
Mhm.
But I bought a Dell XPS 17, which was a brand new computer that had just come out. And so I made a video about that, right? And that was part of it. It turned out that I was kind of
Mm.
hooking onto a trend. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you mentioned somehow it's all, it's all men, right, who watch it. And but
Right.
still, it drove the traffic. I think it won't hurt your channel if you find, bits and pieces of opportunities, because it's still related to video content creation. Because you wouldn't buy that laptop, if it won't help you become a better editor, or edit more videos, right? I think
That's
that
right.
laptop is a good video editing machine, right?
That's
how
right.
how fast how fast is that? What's the processor and the RAM?
This is an i7, but I think it has an 6 or 8 core. It's a 10th generation i7, right? So it's pretty fast. And so the render times are really good on it. And I've always been a Windows person. I've never used a Mac, and I didn't want to get into this YouTube thing. I figured I had enough to learn without also
Yeah.
having to learn how to use a Mac. So, not saying my next computer might not be a Mac, because I know that's what all the cool
Yes.
kids use. But for now, this is it works beautifully, and I've loved it actually. So that's my pitch for the XPS 17 right there.
Yeah, and it talks about the tools, talking about planning. It's all about, solutions, tools, right?
Yeah,
What else? Experience. Those are like ideas that you can build videos and topics on, right?
yeah,
And whatever the niche, let's say you have a spa, you have a spa business.
yeah.
There's a lot of talk about, a spa business. But the problem with those business, I think, is they try to go on a direction that's more, to commercial style. We're the best spa in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
Get this for X amount of dollars. But if they would just dig in deep, what would make that specific oil feel, right, a
mm,
customer better compared to other oils, right? I mean,
yeah,
spa won't just randomly pick their oils, right, or whatever they're using. And that's a good storytelling uh, angle, I think, right?
yeah,
I'm sure that's how you do it with your clients. It's like almost, holding them, hey, stop doing, commercial stuff, content. You need that, but in the long term, right? How often can you say that you are the greatest, right? Right.
exactly. And I think that, customers don't care how great you are, actually. They care what's in it for them, right? So
Always.
if you want to be successful on your YouTube channel or on any marketing that you do, you need to make customers feel like you meet their needs, right? You align with what they need. And that is I think a lot of people make that mistake, and I've made it myself just because it's kind of ingrained in us. The way marketing has always been for the last, since the 50s or whatever,
Yes.
is put some spin on it. But really what customers are, they're like, I'm suffering here. I've,
Yes.
got dry skin or whatever it is,
Yes.
right? And they need a solution to their problem. And if you can provide a solution that makes them feel like, then they're going to think you're the greatest rather than you telling them that
Yes.
you're the greatest. So I think that that's a big thing that is a maybe a change from how it used to be back in the day when the world was young and marketing was young. Um,
After probably after World War II, right? When they
yeah,
started doing the posters, like and everyone
right.
was excited. The war is over. Let's write something on a paper and put it on a wall. Get as much people to join us. So I think that's when advertising really started to grow big. But going back to that storytelling angle, I know you've been itching to do that, right? Do you have
Yeah.
any plans on doing this like on a paid platform? Like Kajabi or Thinkific. Do you have that planned, like in the long term?
I do in the long term want to put together a whole package of, getting, because like I said before, really what I'd love to get into is this sort of idea that you can teach you to fish, right? To do it
Mhm.
yourself marketing for small businesses, because the truth is that if you had to go out and hire somebody, they probably can't afford to hire a commercial production company to do it for
Yes.
them. And if you don't know what you're doing, and you hire someone who also doesn't know what they're doing, then you're worse off than if you just didn't spend any money at all, right? So I think, but the thing is that it's not a huge time investment. I mean, you could, over maybe a 4-week period or whatever, if you dedicated some time to it, you could actually learn what you need to know to start going and get your stuff out there. So eventually, yes, I do want to make a course and or do coaching, like with say 10 clients at a time, do
Yeah.
where I can go and get them, help them get set up and um, get on their
Yeah,
feet. And
if you can charge $500 each for a 10 client, that's
mhm.
$5,000, a
Yeah,
week
I
on
mean,
the bank, right?
right. And if they can then turn that into, if they have the tools they need to get going and all of that, then they can kind of run on their own steam. That's the best, I think, long term.
And yeah, and one thing that I'm reading this book. It's called Oversubscribed by Daniel Priestley. I think you should check it
Mhm.
out. Also, it's
Okay.
amazing. It mentioned something about the content creators that are successful. We sell ideas.
Hmm.
I mean, we give away ideas for free, but we sell the execution.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, a lot for me, a bulk of my clients watch my videos, talk about a specific solution, and they tried it and they failed.
Yeah.
But because they heard it from me, let me just call this guy and ask him how he did it, and then I will explain. And then they eventually it ended up as a project.
Yeah.
And then why not just do this because you know this, right? And then I'm just gonna pay you money. So that's how it all goes. That's why moving forward, people or content creators should really focus and give time on giving away, free, workable ideas and solution.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna be selfish at this age and time, I mean, whatever we're talking about right now, it's probably available with a quick, Google search, right? Like, why
Yeah.
would people listen to us? That's the thing, right? But
Yeah.
because you have a focus, there's less than 100 people watching me, and I'm helping them. I just keep giving them free stuff, ideas, and one day they will actually need that in
Yeah.
a professional level, right? So that's where we come in. That's where we help them, and that's where we get paid,
Yeah.
right?
That's right. And I think, like I said, for me, I do this because I actually figured out that this is something that I love to do. Um, and I don't know if if you're a small business owner and you say have a brick and mortar kind of business, that can be a challenge, right?
Yep.
Because you're getting paid from your brick and mortar stuff, and this online thing may or may not pay off in the end, right? I get why people don't always want to go that route first, but I just think that down the road, the opportunity that they have to get their products out to people is way higher with that curve, right? If they are willing to invest a little bit of time on the front end, and so that's where I feel like if I can add value to people, you know, yeah, I'm not getting paid to do that when I just put this out on the internet or whatever. But yes, like you said, over time, people are going to realize, hey, I can I can get value from this, and then hopefully there's some money in it for me too. But I mean, there has been money in it already with consulting and different things
Yep.
that have come up. So it's certainly there if you're willing to offer, good value to people.
Yep. At the end of the day, it's good value. And uh, having mentioned that, you mentioned a while ago that you have some offering on your website, right? Let
I
me
do.
share that.
And I meant to mention it earlier, and I totally forgot. So I missed my cue. But yes, I have a content planning checklist. So basically, for anybody who's watching, who's interested in maybe kind of making individual videos, I have a little checklist that I've put together for some of my folks. Just to get them started on video creation. So if any of you are interested in that, I believe Robert was going to post the link there,
I'm
which is
gonna put it on a banner first, then I'm gonna add it on the comment section as well.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so feel free to check that out, and any of the other stuff I've got on my website or on my channel. There is some overlap on the site and the channel, but there is also stuff that's specific to each the blog and the channel as well.
So, what can they expect from this checklist?
So this checklist is really more on the individual level. I didn't go into any big picture strategy. I think I mentioned that to you
Yeah.
earlier, but this is not about the big picture strategy. This is more when you're going to make a video. What keywords are you targeting? What are your key talking points that you are working with? And then where are you planning to put this afterward? Do you need to film extra because you're going to put it on Facebook or Instagram or different things where you want to say something a little different at the beginning? So it just gives you kind of a little checklist to work from. And hopefully that will be helpful for
I
some of
should
you that are
download
getting started.
should download this. I need this.
Yeah, help yourself.
Yeah, because
I
I
mean, I say,
mean,
my niche is women, but I'm not, I'm taking all comers. So
yeah,
don't get me wrong.
yeah, because I've been doing this for a lot of, I mean, almost 20 years now. But these are stuff that would really, make an impact. Make
Yeah.
the process easier, especially if you're a small brand. So I encourage everyone, because they will still be able to watch this on replay.
Yep.
So this page is gonna stay there, right, for a
Yep.
bit. Yeah. So
This is
because
this is
yeah,
this is a something I offer on my site. So and on all my YouTube videos that anybody can go and download this checklist.
yeah, I'm gonna check the checklist. I'm gonna check it out and uh start implementing it, as you have mentioned, planning. And even the streamings like this that I do, we didn't like jump in, and like, hey, Amy, can you do this tonight? We have like a back and forth of email, because this is gonna stay on the channel, and it's still part of the value that we are trying to. I mean, I'm gonna give you a copy of this, of the value that we're trying to provide our audience, right, in the long run. And yeah, I don't want to take much of your time. Do you have any, like, famous encouraging last words before we end? I lost your audio. I cannot hear you. I think you're on mute. Are you on mute?
Yep. I
Good.
don't know what happened there. My back.
Okay.
Well, I feel really passionate about this topic, obviously, but I appreciate the time that you had me on the show, and that's really exciting for me to be able to share with somebody else, especially somebody who's halfway around the world too. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's cool.
Um, but I guess just as a final thought to anybody who's wondering if they should get started, I would say yes. And if you're not ready to dip your feet in the YouTube channel pool quite yet, at any rate, get started on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you currently live with your social media, and be doing video, something with video. Just get yourself comfortable with it, even because this is the future. In another 10 years, we're all going to be using video instead of email, probably.
Hologram.
So, yeah. And then there'll be holograms. And so, you know, it's the wave of the future. I would just say you got to get over yourself and just get comfortable.
And there's a 73-year-old lady who's
That's
starting a
right.
video somewhere. So
If she can do it, you can do it. And if
yeah,
I can do it, you guys, if I can do it, anyone can do it, because I am so shy normally. And I don't know how many interviews in real life for jobs and things that I tanked because I was just so shy. And now I'm making videos and I'm putting them on the internet. So if I can learn to overcome that fear and shyness, I feel like anyone can. So
yeah, like the famous Sean always says, punch fear in the face,
that's right.
right?
That's right. Punch fear in the
So
face and
so
press
that's
record.
and press record. Yeah, that's the Sean Cannell religion
Yeah. Yeah.
of doing YouTube. Anyway, thank you for your time, Amy. I appreciate that, and um, I believe this would be value added content to my the few people who's watching me. I'm gonna share the actual video to you as well after this. So
Appreciate that.
uh, I know it's 9 p.m., right?
Yep.
Yeah, I hope you had your dinner this time.
Yeah.
So you're in Seattle right now, so I'm in Singapore. So this is really cool, right? This is
Yeah.
what guys, this is what you can do on video, find a friend somewhere in South Africa, and then just have a
Exactly.
conversation and bring your ideas, bring your minds together and try to add value to the people who are watching your channel. And again, have you mentioned your channel? So her channel is the
Yeah, my channel is called The
lady.
Video Lady. Yep.
Yep.
And you can reach it from my website there, or you can go onto YouTube and it's called The Video Lady. Yeah.
Yep. And I have someone here who says, always watch your videos. Yeah, exploring tech with Harry. So he always comments on my videos and Speedcube Ninja. Yep,
Okay.
that's a handful of people who keeps expressing that they're finding value
Yeah.
with what I'm doing, and that's like that's big time for
Yeah.
us in
I
what
mean,
we're doing,
if you
right?
add value to one person, you matter, right? So, yeah.
Yep. And tonight you definitely added value to me because I've learned a lot from you. And I'm gonna go to bed later thinking about, finding a 73-year-old man and encouraging him, hey, do you know that across the globe there's a 73-year-old lady who's gonna do our YouTube soon?
Starting around.
You should
Yeah.
start your own. We're gonna cover that, the man side of the audience, the guys, only for the guys. And I heard she's gonna do yoga, why not do, bench warm ups
Yeah.
and jogging. But age doesn't matter, like
No,
in
that's right.
most, yeah, even in YouTube, it's okay. So I'm gonna get you out of the stream studio, and thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you
But
so much.
don't leave the studio yet. I'm just gonna hide you, and I'm just gonna close the episode. I'm gonna talk to you for a few more
All
seconds
right.
after this. I'm just gonna close our episode, and thank you. for joining me, and I hope we keep in touch. And I mean, I love watching your video. I love the brand color of your video. It reminds me of a Marvel series on Netflix.
Okay.
Jessica Jones, you
Yeah,
know,
that's right.
oh, Kilgrave.
Yeah.
This is the color of Kilgrave, the amazing villain of Jessica Jones. Anyway, thanks, Amy. Hold on for a while. I'm gonna take you out
Yep.
and see you when I see you. You know, when you visit Singapore, hopefully
Yeah.
in
Thank
Planet
you.
Earth 2.0. Okay, Amy, wait for me for a bit. Wait. Okay, guys, thank you for watching the stream, and I hope you got a lot of insights on that. And Amy is a well experienced professional content creator, as you have watched. And for those who jump in a bit late, you can watch the replay on my Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. So I hope to see you on my next streaming episode. And wherever you are right now, please stay safe and and enjoy working from home. Enjoy staying from home, whatever you're doing right now. And thank you for supporting my channel. And it's your time to grow. It's time to go to work. Thank you for watching. See you on my next videos.